So at this time, if you feel comfortable and you want to move on to number 3 on your own, go right ahead. Those of you who are not ready to move on your own, keep working with me. Number 3 looks like this. 2560 divided by 4. So I'm going to skip an entire line. I'm going to write the number 3. I'm going to build my house. I'm going to write 2560. And we're dividing by 4 this time. Luckily for me, I already have my 4s. They're right here on my handy dandy little top bottom chart. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fold this back so I don't get distracted by the other numbers on here. There it is. Easy for me to use. So no need to write my top bottom chart for 4 because I already have it. I noticed that I have a decimal. The very first thing I should do would be pop up the decimal. Everybody say pop it up.
Pop it up.
It doesn't move places. It goes directly vertical. Now I cover, and I think to myself, if I had 2 dots, could I circle a group of 4? No, I cannot. So I would put an X in that spot. I'm going to move it over. If I had 25 dots, could I circle a group of 4? Well, I could. I could probably circle 6 groups. 6 would go on top, and 6 times 4 is 24. Now that I've divided and I've multiplied, because those are kind of together steps, the next thing would be to subtract. 25 minus 24 is a difference of 1. And after I subtract, I quickly bring down the next number, which happens to be 6. And I start this process all over again. I'm searching. How many groups of 4 are in 16? So I'm looking, and voila, I see 4 groups would give me 16. So 4 goes on top, and now I have divided. 4 groups of 4 will give me 16. I've now multiplied. I'm ready to subtract. 16 minus 16 is 0. And the next thing I would do would be to bring down the next number, which happens to be 0. Now I have 0. Can I circle a group of 4? No, I cannot. So I'm going to put my 0 placeholder up here. And 0 groups of 4 would just be 0. And there's nothing left. I'm going to box in my answer of 640. I'm going to quickly go back to my Waxy Wonders. I'm going to look for 640 and I'm going to check it off over here in the answer column. Number 4. Number 4 happens to be 31.50. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and build my house. And in my house, I'm going to write 31.50. This time, we're dividing by 3. So I'm going to go back to my top-bottom chart. I'm going to try to find my number 3. There it is, right here, handy-dandy for me to use. Going to lay that out. I'm actually going to move that on top of number 3 so I don't have to worry about it. I've got my decimal. What would be the first thing that I would want to do? Yes.
Bring up your decimal.
Yes. Pop up your decimal. We're going to break this down number by number, and we think to ourselves, if I had 3 dots, could I circle a group of 3? Yes, we can. So we would put 1 here. And 1 group of 3 would give you 3. So you've just divided when you put the number on top, and you have multiplied. The very next thing you want to do would be to subtract. 3 minus 3 is what number? 0. Then we would bring down the next number, which happens to be 1. Now I get to start this process over again. How many groups of 3 are in 1? If I had one dot, could I circle a group of 3?
No.
No. If the answer is no, you must put a 0 here. If you don't put a 0 there, you'll end up getting a number that's off, probably by 10. 0, groups of 3, is 0. And 1 minus 1, or 1 minus 0 is 1. Bring down the 5, because it's our next number. And we get to start this process all over again. How many groups of 3 will get me to 15? So I quickly scan and look for 15 or something close. The number 5 will go on top. 5 groups of 15, or 5 groups of 3 is 15. So we have just divided and multiplied in one step. We're ready to subtract. 15 minus 15 is 0. Bring down the next number, which happens to be 0. And we ask ourselves, how many groups of 3 are in 0? 0. And we have to finish this out. 0 groups of 3 is 0, and 0 minus 3 is 0, or minus 0 is 0. My answer is 1050. I'm going to box that in. I'm going to go back over to my Waxy Wonders. I'm looking for 1050, and I see it. I'm going to go ahead and check it off. I'll do number 5, and you're going to do number 6.